on block 11? You're not behaving right. You need to stay up on the top of that tower. Well, here I am for the second part of our discussion on how to increase frustration tolerance for our kids, especially those with communication delays or developmental delays of any kind, because we all deal with frustration tolerance. Welcome to the video. I'm happy you're here. I'm glad to see you. Last week, we talked about tip 1, which was helping kids stay regulated, getting them to that calm point, and then pushing things just a little bit at a time so that we can increase the time that the child can stay slightly uncomfortable and frustrated and yet not get out of the self-regulated zone. Today we're going to talk about the other 4 tips that I had for you. Tip number 2 is talk about emotions. We want to notice that everybody has emotions. Everybody has feelings of anger, frustration, annoyance, happiness, joy, excitement. We all have all those feelings. And talking about them is going to help kids realize that everybody has those feelings and there are ways to deal with some of the ones that are more difficult to manage. I have a little story about this. I don't want to make this video really long, but this is a really good story on this topic. I had a student who really didn't like another student, and they had to come at the same time to the same class, and so we were using the situation in order to teach the one who didn't like the other one how to cope with those feelings. And one day he went out the classroom and someone followed him, of course, because he's not allowed to leave the classroom alone. And he locked himself in the stall in the bathroom and said, "I just really don't like her." And I was outside and I said, "You know, sometimes I don't like people either. It's really hard when that happens." And he was really quiet, and this is not a quiet child. He's talking all the time. And I said, "You know, this was in a church situation, so adapt as necessary to meet your own personal situation. But in my faith tradition, my main goal is to show love, is to show the love of God and to practice showing love, especially to the people who are difficult for me to love, who are different from me." So I said, "I believe that it's our job to work on things that are hard for us, to work on showing love to people who are hard for us to love. And that might be so-and-so." And he said, "Wait, you don't like her either?" And I actually do like that little girl. So I said, "Well, I don't mind her so much, but there are other people who are really hard for me to love. And I'm working on it. And it's still hard for me, and I've been working on it for a long time." He was quiet again for a very long time, and I think it kind of blew his mind that a grown-up person also had feelings of not liking somebody and was working hard to treat that person with love and kindness anyway. Those are the kind of discussions we want to be having with kids. We need to let them know that we also have those feelings. Sometimes kids think that grown-ups are just all fixed and all the things that are wrong with us. I mean, they see us doing dumb stuff, but they don't necessarily know that we didn't want to do that dumb thing or that we shouldn't have done that dumb thing. What we want to do is we want to notice when we are horrible or mean or selfish. We want to tell kids, "You know what? I just noticed that I did something really selfish. And here it is. I did this thing. I did not wash the dishes even though I had time because I just wanted your dad to do it. And so I pretended like I was busy so he would do it. And he did because he's a kind man who likes to show love. But that was really selfish of me. And you know what I'm gonna do tonight? I'm gonna do the dishes all by myself without any help, but I'm gonna do something sneaky nice for your dad that he's not expecting, because he is such a nice man and I wanna show him how much I love him. Let's have these discussions. Let's be honest with our kids about, not about everything we do wrong, not about all the grown-up stuff that we do that needs to be addressed, but about some of those kid-friendly issues that we still deal with, that we are working on, so that kids too can figure out that they also need to work on stuff. And it's a lifelong process trying to grow. Make sure that you read books where the characters talk about their emotions. There are lots of friendly books on emotional topics. I have a great playlist, if I say so myself, about social emotional awareness, and it's right up there. So if your kid has a lot of feelings of frustration, a lot of feelings that just aren't so well expressed, then social emotional skills are a great thing to work on, and you can do it. It works out really well to do these things at home because you're the ones who see the kids' frustration, and you have access to the resources that you need because you can rent out books from the library, you can figure out ways to incorporate more emotional talk into your lives. It's hard for grown-ups too to realize what our own emotions are and then share them. But it can be a team effort. The whole family can work on it at the same time. My third tip is when an irritation comes and you know your child's getting really frustrated by it. Let's say you're building a tower of blocks and your child just can't get it past 10 blocks because block number 11 keeps falling off, and then the whole thing falls down and it's super annoying, and you can tell that your child is about to melt down. In this case, you can make a joke. It's not exactly a joke, but you can make it really dramatic. Come on, block 11, you're not behaving right. You need to stay up on the top of that tower. If your child's a little bit younger, say, come on, block. Be really dramatic, make it kind of humorous and funny. Play act that you're more upset than you are, but that you're handling it well. I'm frustrated, but I'm gonna try again. Talk it through. Tell that block he needs to stay up there on that tower. Tip number 4 is give lots of choices. When I'm frustrated, I feel trapped. Most of the time, that's where frustration comes from, for me anyway, and for a lot of the kids we work with, is that we feel trapped. We feel like we don't have any choices. There's only one way, and I don't like it. However, usually we have choices in almost every circumstance. We have choices in how we respond. We have choices of other things that we could do instead of that thing that we can't do. Most of the time, we are not actually trapped. Let's help our kids realize this. For example, if outside time is all done because it's now raining, or it's too cold, or it's too hot, or somebody needs to cook dinner and we can't go outside and be cooking dinner at the same time, then you can say something like, outside is finished. Cars or marble run? Make sure that you're very excited. Make sure that you make those other two things seem really great, and allow your kid to make those kind of choices. The more choices we have, the less trapped we feel. Tip number 5 is, as you're doing these other tips, step in as soon as possible when you see the first signs of frustration to help do what we call co-regulation. Co-regulation is when we work with a child to help the child stay calm. The child isn't really doing it by himself, but with encouraging words from us, with sensory support from us, the child is capable of doing it. He just needs some extra help doing it. Let's say your child is building that tower, that block will not stay on. You see the arms getting straight, you see the jaw clenching up, you see the hands going into little fists, and you hear squeaky noises. Okay, these are all signs of frustration. So you know that the big bang is coming if you don't do something. What you don't want to do is just step in, put block number 11 on top, and the problem is solved because the tower is done. Yay. Number one, the child will just try to put block number 12 on and it will probably fall over. So you didn't solve the problem. But the other part is, you don't want to solve the problem for your child. You want to help your child stay calm through the problem. Which is a totally different issue. And so when you see your child building the tower, it's not working, your child's getting really frustrated, you swoop in and you say, "That's okay, block number 11 is being silly. Let's put him in jail." You can put block number 11 in jail. And then you can say, "Maybe the tower is only 8 blocks tall, but we build 3 towers." So we can help the child problem solve through the issue rather than solving the issue for the child. This is how we build those frustration tolerance muscles. We help the child through the problem, and next time the child will remember and will have more ability to work through the problems herself or himself. Those are my 5 tips. I guess in this video, 4 tips plus the one from last week. So I hope they were helpful to you. Leave me questions down below. Give me a thumbs up if this was a helpful video for you, or if you just enjoyed listening to my dulcet tones. And don't forget to subscribe. I hope you're having a great week. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.